Hi, I'm Rhiannon Faith, and I'm here to tell you a story, sort of a compilation of things that have been going on. It's been a while since I have made a video, not for any particular reason, since I always have 1,000 different thoughts going through my head, and storytelling continues whether I'm recording it or not. But it's been some time, and so I was thinking really strongly about this one particular video that I want to do today, and what I wanted to share, sort of this journey that I've been on of late and progress that I feel like I've been making in my life and prioritizing thoughts and actions. So, cryptic as usual. So, I'm sure you've all seen, and if you haven't, you're going to see them now because I've put it out into, the metaverse, this statement again. But there are some memes and videos that are going around talking about how buffalo will chase the storm. So cows will kind of drift away from the storm and move beyond a storm, and the storm is kind of at their tail for as long as possible because they're never really getting in front of it. But buffalo will run towards the storm, through the storm, so they minimize the entire impact of the storm, the time that they are under the storm. And I'd like to say that, my life has been marked entirely by running into the storm, but that is not the case. It's not been avoiding the storms. I'm not much on an avoidance situation, but I've definitely not been a storm pursuer. Um, I do like storms in real life, though, like the storm chasing, but like the storms of life and the challenges you experience, I've not been the person who's running after that storm and looking for a storm opportunity. However, I have become one. And so it's interesting how those little suggestive thoughts, it's just really important what you allow in your mind and in your environment, how they influence your ultimate outcome. So I've been very intentional about the things that I'm putting into my mind and heart, and the activities that I'm doing related to those things, and how I've seen now in sort of a retrospective look how much they're influencing my current behavior. So the moment I realized I have become a storm chaser, I was at my son's baseball game. He plays club baseball, and so a lot of weekends are just baseball. And I have no idea what my schedule will be beforehand. But I have increased my walking significantly over the last couple of months. And it's like really cool when you get those little updates from your phone, or whatever tracking app you're using that say you're tracking much higher than you had been before. Your walking pattern seems to indicate a significant increase. Like, hot tickety, yeah, way to notice. So I've been walking most days 6 to 8 miles, and most days I try to get in at least 3+ miles in a single stretch. And it's really been super beneficial for me. I listen to books on tape while I'm walking. Sometimes I listen to music, but I don't want to be idle and just read a book at home. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me, my job is rather sedentary. So to be able to get out and move and then also listen to a book is like two birds, one stone sort of situation. So I'll get out there and I'm walking, and for some reason, this is a total side note, unrelated in any way, but I could be wearing bright colored clothing. I do like to walk at night kind of a lot. That's sort of my favorite. It's not necessarily super quiet and peaceful, but there's something about the calmness of darkness. The stars are out. Just it gives a different vantage point on life. It's just like less harsh when the sun is not beating down on you, particularly in Arizona. So somehow the sun is hotter here. Valley of the Sun. What are you going to do? So somehow, no matter what color clothing I'm wearing, I am a magnet for cars, like actual magnet. There have been countless occasions, five that I can distinctly recall, where people have tried to hit me crossing the street with the light and the little walking man, and they try to hit me. Like, how is this even possible? Do you not recognize any of your environment that you're like running me down? One time, it was like back to back two cars. The first one nearly hit me, and I like scuttled forward to try and get out of the way. And then the next one accelerated towards me. Like, is everybody watching or playing Grand Theft Auto all of a sudden again? And you're like trying to get up your points by picking off walkers? What the heck? So, anyways, I digress. I like walking at night. I'm getting in a number of miles each day. So, on the weekends when my son has baseball tournaments, there can be variability on how much I'm able to walk because of the restrictions of getting him to the game. There's a drive, and then there's the game, and then there's the next game, and then there's the drive home, and all of this stuff. And so, like, when do I get to walk in that? So I had like a solid break on one of his games one weekend where I was able to go take a walk, and we were kind of in this hilly area. So I was super excited because most of where I live is pretty flat, like boring, except for if you go hiking. But like most of the regular roads are flat. This particular part of town is really hilly. So very cool. I'm walking and I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking to myself, well, I've been walking a fair amount. I can only walk for about another hour before I need to turn back. And I come up and I see this hill sign. And it's telling me the percentage of grade for the hill. It's 18%. I am like beside myself excited. Now, mind you, I've already walked at least an hour at this point. I was getting ready to turn around, but then I saw an 18% grade, and I was like, I obviously have to go up this, duh. And as I immediately thought about my response to that situation, so I'm already a little tired. I mean, not really tired, but I've already been walking for a little while. It is hot, hotter than like I was dressed a little too warmly for the temperature and the walking. So like if I was just sedentary and watching the game, I'd probably have been fine. But I was out walking, I was wearing long sleeves that weren't really rolling up, and I was wearing like jogger sweatpants. So I'm a little toasty at this point, no cloud cover, so rude. And I see this hill, 18% grade, so stoked at the opportunity and was like, absolutely not going to miss this. I have to go up this hill. And so I thought to myself in the immediate flash after that, how curious is this? So my immediate response to seeing a challenge that is no joke going to be challenging is elation. I am so excited to tackle this because I know I'm going to conquer this thing. I'm going to do it. It's going to burn. It's going to be so great. And I'm going to come back down with such a sense of accomplishment. And so sure enough, I got after it. And like, there were some huff and puff moments on the way up, but not nearly as many as I had potentially anticipated. But I was just committed that I so wanted to do this. And I thought, how cool is this that I have come to a point where I am chasing the challenge? I am looking for the opportunity to push myself, my body, my mind, uh, my boundary of what I can or cannot do, and to achieve something greater. Like, that is a neat spot to be in when you get out of your way, all of your internal sabotage or personal barriers, and say, I am a conqueror and I can rock this thing. And so I got after it, and it was really neat. There was a guy on the other side, an older gentleman, was like wildly impressed. Apparently he drove his motorcycle over, parked it at the base of it, and he goes up and down it a few times. And I mean, he is an older guy. He had to have been like at least in his mid 70s. And I was just wildly impressed at his veracity. And he didn't even pause. He just kept huffing and puffing away at that mountain. And I was just, wow. Again, very impressed. So I took the challenge. I did the thing. I walked back to my son's game, and I was just like, on cloud nine, like such a victory lap to have tackled that. And more than just the accomplishment of doing it, it was that mindset shift that I had made, that I can see a challenge and chase the challenge. Because if I chase the challenge, and now that wasn't an inevitable challenge, I didn't have to take the mountain, but I chose the mountain. And it, because it would be to my benefit, right? And I recognize that. So it's been amazing to have this full mindset shift to become a chaser of challenge. And so now when I see a hard thing, in whatever capacity that is, I am pushing into the challenge. I am chasing the storm like the buffalo. And I'm looking for not just, you know, obviously the buffalo do know by going through into the storm, they're going to have less of the storm. But you're also going to hit the hardest headwind. So you're going to hit the strong of the storm. But that's going to make you stronger also. So I'm going for it in all of these different areas of my life. I'm sure I have plenty of other opportunities for improvement. But right now, I'm chasing the storms and I'm super digging it. And I'm like really excited about this transition. And so, um, this focus on continued focus is kind of always in the back of my head. How can I be the best version of myself? And how can I pursue things that will push me to be the best version of myself? I'm really good at doing that with intellectual things. Super great on pursuit of intellectual increase and growth, development, anything that has to do intellectual engagement. I'm all in. Easy. Like I don't even have to think about it twice. Emotional engagement, similarly, I'm always pressing myself to be smarter about the way I handle a situation, be more diplomatic, gracious, patient, kind, all of those things. But the area I have really lacked for a long, long time has been taking good physical care of myself because somehow in the toxic dialogue I'd been exposed to for many, many years, I heard that me taking care of myself in any way was selfish. And that is just straight up fiction. And even though I actually knew that it was fiction at the time, and every time I would hear those things, I would burden myself with going through the intellectual process of saying, well, that's not what I believe about myself. And that isn't what I see in the outcome of prioritizing my well being. But it still left seeds. So just, PSA or, gentle reminder, your words do matter. They do plant seeds. And so, be gentle with the people around you because you don't want to be a part of creating a toxic dialogue or second guessing that someone will burden themselves with for a long time thereafter. But overcoming all of those things and saying to myself, me taking care of myself is the most generous way that I can love myself. And, getting out and walking, like it clears my mind. It feels great. My body feels great doing that. I'm like excited for stairs. So now every time I see stairs, I'm like, oh my gosh, can we take the stairs? I'm gonna take the stairs. Can I go up and down the stairs a few times? Like I'm a little kid. Like this is the best thing I've ever seen to see stairs. My husband, son, and I were out at this really, really cool sports store called Shields. We have a new one in Chandler, and it's amazing. If you haven't gone, I definitely recommend you go and check it out. But like, spend some time wandering. Don't go in like you're going to just try and buy something and leave. That's not the store for you. Okay, just go to Dick's if that's your vibe. But if you want to go and experience like the fun of a place, it has a Ferris wheel inside. It's ridiculous. I had so much fun. But they have a staircase. It's a really good staircase. And so there's kind of like an up down staircase, although you can go either way. I was like chafing at the bit to do the stairs and went up and down like twice, and running up them. And like the excitement to have the energy to do that. And it's not even like, I'm breathing hard. I have asthma and like it's just not bothering me at all at this point. Just like really exciting to see the physical progress of my body beginning to cooperate and behave as it should, which, helps if I'm taking care of it. Yeah, who would have guessed that those things would be related? Such a mystery, really. But it's really exciting to see this movement. And so I'm committing for myself to keep on this track, like of pursuing the hard things. And again, not just intellectual and emotional, but getting after them in the physical And so I'm continuing to do 5Ks. I've mentioned before, I love to do like the virtual 5Ks. This year for Thanksgiving, I actually did two 5Ks, and I did the Phoenix Turkey Trot, and that was really cool. There's so many people. It was amazing. And then the next day I did the Ahwatukee Tukey Trot, and my son was not feeling well. I like dragged him out of bed to come with me because it was going to be something we were going to do together. And since he's young and athletic, I'm like, you got this. He was like really so sick. I'm dragging him along to a 5K. He kept telling me, slow down, mom. Oh my gosh, you have to slow down. I was not slowing down. I mean, he was really like, stop, mom, you can't go so fast. But it's really great to have a life where I'm not limited by, the physical constraint. I've felt seriously for the last, I don't even know how many years. Like I was wearing a fat suit that I couldn't find the zipper for. So annoying. Because in my head, that's not who I was. And I just couldn't get rid of it. And so I've been able to start shedding that mental block, the emotional block, and then the physical restriction. And so it's been amazing. The journey is still going. Not really anything to do with weight loss. It more about the mindset for myself, that prioritizing my well-being, by physical well-being, by getting out and exercising, or eating foods that are good fuel for me and make me feel better. Like that's acceptable, and that's should be encouraged. And my husband is so wonderfully supportive, and so I'm really fortunate to have that, because um, that was not always the case. And so it's really wonderful to have that kind of love and support, like cheering me on as I run around now like a crazy person. So anyhow, I hope you're doing really well. I apologize that it had been so long. I will get better. I know I say that every time and it's been a while, but I heard something else this morning that reminded me that this just isn't about me. And so I will be more diligent about honoring this gift and opportunity I have to share with you. So thank you for listening. Come back again, and I'll tell you another story.